Вот с прежней администрации главный раздражитель, ну это так мягко скажем, были в том числе поставки вооружений на Украину. Сейчас вот непонятно. Эти продолжаются поставки? Уже полгода Трамп.
Какие-то продолжаются, а какие-то нет, насколько я знаю.
This is my video update on this Sunday afternoon, June the 29th, coming to you from Athens, Greece. Let's talk about some news. And let's start things off with some breaking news from the Hungarian foreign minister. Peter Szijjártó posted on X, the U.S. has lifted sanctions that blocked construction of the PAX-2 nuclear plant. These politically motivated measures were imposed by the Biden admin just before @real Donald Trump took office. Grateful to the Trump administration, as this project will guarantee our future energy supply. So big news coming out of Hungary, as announced by the Hungarian foreign minister. The nuclear power plant, the PAX-2 nuclear power plant, which is a project between Hungary and Russia. The sanctions on this power plant have been lifted. The Biden administration, they put a block on this nuclear power plant right before he left office, that Bidenopolis. Never liked Orban, that Bidenopolis, and in comes Trump, and now he has lifted the sanctions on the construction of this nuclear power plant, which will produce, one second, it will produce a large part of the electricity needed to run the country and the economy at the lowest price in Europe from the middle of the next decade. Very welcome news for Hungary, for the people of Hungary. Cheap electricity, clean, safe, cheap electricity. Thanks to Donald Trump for lifting the sanctions. Good job, Viktor Orban. This is a big win for Orban's government. Viktor Orban, who supported Trump as he was campaigning to become president. Perhaps the only EU leader who supported Trump during the campaign. I believe every other EU leader during the presidential campaign openly came out in support of Kamala Harris and against Donald Trump. Some EU leaders and some UK leaders, you know who I'm talking about, never hear Keir. They were very, very much against Donald Trump. But Orban, he supported Trump, man. He supported Trump big time. That angered Ursula, that angered the globalists. And now he is getting his nuclear power plant. Russia is going to be able to build the nuclear power plant. Russia is the best in the business when it comes to building nuclear power plants. And you know, just yesterday, Putin said some very nice words about the U.S. president. What did Trump say in that Truth Social post where he was angry with Khamenei? He said you can get more things done with honey than with vinegar. And he was very upset with the Iranian supreme leader. And Putin gave a speech the other day, and he said some very good things about Trump. And now you have the lifting of the sanctions on the nuclear power plant. I don't think it was Putin's words that did it, though it might have helped Trump along to lift the sanctions. Maybe it speeded things up so that Trump could lift the sanctions. But this was probably in the works for a while now. I would not be surprised if this was discussed in the Netherlands during the NATO meeting. Maybe Orban's people, they pulled aside Trump's people, and they had a Hungary-US talk on the sidelines of the NATO meeting, and they agreed to lift the sanctions on this power plant. This is also very good news when it comes to US-Russia normalization of ties, right? Very good news there as well. And interesting timing to all of this. A lot of talk about nuclear energy, of course. We had everything that was happening with Iran and the nuclear facilities in Iran. The Russians are building a nuclear facility in Iran, the Bushehr nuclear facility, and that facility was obviously, that facility was, I don't think it was attacked, was it? No, it wasn't attacked. Russians were there the whole time, the whole 12 days. Russians were at the nuclear facility and they were working on this nuclear energy civilian nuclear energy facility. But a very interesting timing to all of this. Boy, Ursula's probably fuming at this news, huh? We've got tools, Mr. Orban. Orban is now saying to Ursula, you've got tools. We've got tools. U.S. President Trump, he's got tools. Ursula von der Math. You know who else is very upset at this news? I would bet that he's very upset at this news. You know who. You know who's very upset at this news, reading this post from Peter Sciarto. The Green Goblin, Abraham Lincoln #2, Churchill #2, also known as Volodymyr Zelensky. Boy, he must be plenty mad as he was reading this post from Sciarto. Or as Podolyak was reading him the post from Sciarto. Podolyak, what are you telling me? What did Mr. Trump do? Why he lift sanctions on this nuclear facility? I don't know, Mr. President. I think President Trump likes Orban. What, Podolyak? How could he like this Viktor Orban? I don't like this Viktor Orban. Viktor Orban, not good man. I don't like him. He always make fun of me. Anyway, yeah, Zelensky's probably definitely very upset with this news. Big news, and good news for the people of Hungary. So let's move on and let's discuss the massive Russian missile and drone strike into Ukraine yesterday. Around 350, 400 drones into Ukraine, as well as 35 to 40 missiles launched into Ukraine. The Russian Ministry of Defense, they put out a statement saying that all the targets that they wanted to hit were hit. And they said they were targeting military facilities and facilities that produce weapons and military supply chains and stuff like that. They targeted, the interesting part about this strike, it was a massive strike, but the interesting part is that a lot of the focus on this missile and drone strike was in the west of Ukraine. Actually, a lot of focus in Kremenchuk, which is this city right on the Dnieper in the Dnipropetrovsk region. Right on the Dnieper. From what I understand, Kremenchuk has many facilities which produce weapons for the Ukraine military, and they got hit really hard. And then the west of Ukraine, Lvov, and these areas very close to the border with Poland, also got hit very hard. Actually, the Polish military was put on high alert because of the proximity of these missile strikes. Another thing that happened yesterday was a bad day for Ukraine, bad day for Zelensky. Another thing that happened was that the air defense was nowhere to be seen. The Ukrainian air defense is completely crumbling. In many areas, it's non-existent. And F-16, they had to use F-16s in order to down many of the drones. The Ukraine military, and one of the F-16s, from what I understand, crashed or was hit by a drone or something like that, and the F-16 got destroyed. The pilot did not survive. And I think that is the fourth or fifth F-16 that Ukraine has publicly stated that has been destroyed since they started to get to the F-16s. Using the F-16s as missile defense. That's basically what is going on. But Kremenchuk, Lviv, Lvov, Kiev was also targeted. Ivano-Frankivsk. A lot of the west of Ukraine is targeted in this missile and drone strike. AMK mapping says my estimations for today's combined Russian missile attack on Ukraine: 18 Kh-101 cruise missiles launched, 7 intercepted, 8 Kalibr cruise missiles launched, 1 intercepted, 5 Kinzhal hypersonic ballistic missiles launched, 0 intercepted, 3 Onyx supersonic cruise missiles launched, 0 intercepted, 1 Iskander-M ballistic missile launched, 0 intercepted. 35 missiles in total, 8 interceptions, a 22.9% interception rate. This is according to AMK mapping. I don't know how he comes up with these estimations, but he's been pretty accurate in the past. So he is saying 22.9% interception rate. So the Ukraine parliament, this is an interesting story that not many people are picking up. The Ukraine parliament, they are preparing a bill to organize post-war elections. And this is coming from the parliament speaker. What's that guy's name? Stefan Chuk, I believe is his name, the speaker of the Ukraine parliament. He said in a statement yesterday that the parliament is indeed working on legislation to prepare for elections. He says post-war elections, once there is a negotiated deal and a ceasefire is in place, then he said that martial law can be dropped. And once that happens, elections are going to take place. And that's what he's working on. There was a poll that was conducted the other day, a Ukraine poll, which said that if elections were held today, it would be Zelensky who would win with around 60, I believe it was 60 to 65% of the vote. And the Green Goblin would get something like 20 or 25%. He would lose. The Green Goblin would lose if elections were held in Ukraine. So that's an interesting bit of news coming out of Kiev. Let's now go to Serbia, Belgrade, Serbia, where yesterday we had huge protests led by students, but a large part of the Serbian society took part in these protests. They are calling on the Vučić government to call snap elections, to step down and call snap elections. And actually, they put a deadline to the Vučić government. They said that you have until 9 p.m. Saturday night, yesterday, 9 p.m. That is when you have to call snap elections. And of course, Vučić did not agree to this, and he did not step down. His government did not step down. Snap elections were not called, but you did have massive, huge, gigantic protests. You can see the images. I'll put the images up on the screen right now. Protests taking place in Belgrade. I'm not sure if protests took place in other cities in Serbia, but a lot of people turned up in the day. In the evening, when it was clear that Vučić was not going to call snap elections, things appeared to get violent. I have seen some videos of some violence breaking out between police and some protesters. The protests in the daytime were very, very organized and peaceful. In the evenings, things got a little bit rough. But to be quite honest, I've been I've been seeing protests like what went on in Serbia here in Greece for more than a decade. And in Greece, we pretty much have the same formula. In the daytime, whenever we have protests in the daytime, things are very peaceful. And as night sets in, usually you start to get the police clashing with some protesters. And the next day, things go back to normal. That appears to be what we saw in Serbia yesterday. Very peaceful protests in the daytime, and then in the evening, things get a little bit rough. But the next day, things calm down. But I think next week we're going to get more protests. They're not giving up. The students are not giving up. They want the Vučić government to call elections. They want elections, man, and Vučić is resisting. So that's what happened in Serbia. Vučić has been president. Check this out, man. He's been president for 12 years. Really? Jeez, he's been in power for a long time. That Vučić. He's that Erdogan type of leader, you know. He plays the EU, he plays Russia, he plays the US. He walks that tightrope, that Vučić. I've talked a lot about Vučić in Serbia over the past week because of the weapons report from Russian Foreign Intel Agency, which is very upset with Serbia, because they did a report and an investigation where they claim that the Serbian military-industrial complex over the past 3 years has been supplying weapons to Ukraine, indirectly supplying weapons to Ukraine, a very sneaky way of getting the weapons to Ukraine, because they were sending assembly kits to Europe. Serbia would send the assembly kits, the weapon kits, to Europe. European countries would then put the kits together, and then they would send them to Ukraine, and they would brand the weapons as European weapons, not Serbian weapons, as European weapons. And that's how they were funneling weapons from Serbia to Ukraine. And Russia got plenty mad with Serbia and with Vučić. So anyway, that's what happened in Serbia yesterday. And next week, I do believe next week, we will possibly be seeing more protests calling on Vučić to step down. Let's now go to the IAEA, and let's talk about Mr. Grossi, who has now been officially banned from entering Iran. I believe it is now official. Iran has banned IAEA chief. Surveillance cameras from nuclear plants have been banned, according to Politico. Tehran claims Israel's government obtained sensitive facility data, according to media reports. Man, oh man, is this sinister. If this is true, boy, oh boy, that Grossi and that IAEA, what sinister stuff were they up to? Man, that's just not cool. That is not cool at all. According to Iranian officials, they claim that the cameras that the IAEA has at the nuclear facilities, or had at the nuclear facilities, that the data in these cameras were then passed on to Israel. And they used a lot of this information to prepare for the strikes into Iran. Now, I wonder, is the accusation that this information was knowingly passed on to Israel, or was this some sort of hacking job? I don't know. The article doesn't say, the information does not say how the camera footage, if this is true, from these IAEA cameras ended up in Israeli and U.S. I imagine the U.S. also had this information, how it ended up in their hands. But if this is true, then this is pretty bad news for the reputation of the IAEA, if this is true. Grossi, he is saying that uranium enrichment might resume in Iran in a matter of months if he's not allowed into the country. So you see what Grossi is doing? So because Iran is banning Grossi and banning the security cameras into the nuclear facilities, because Iran and Russia and China are coming out with statements which reflect very badly on Grossi and the IAEA. What is Grossi doing? He is trying to stir up trouble in order to safeguard his position, his reputation, and the IAEA's position and reputation. He's coming out with statements saying, you know what, if we're not allowed into Iran, then they're going to enrich uranium again. And Grossi knows that if these statements are used by the United States and Israel, we could then get another strike into Iran in the next couple of months if they really start to run with these statements from Grossi. If Grossi really starts to amplify the statements that uranium is going to get enriched in the next couple of months, then this is going to be used as a pretext once again to ramp up military action against Iran. So that is what Grossi is doing to counter the statements and the claims coming out of Iran and also coming out of Russia and China. It is Lavrov who has condemned Grossi and the IAEA as well. He's put a lot of blame on Grossi for providing the pretext to the military strikes into Iran. So anyway, that is what is going on there. And we can now talk about the BBB, the Build Back Better, the big, beautiful bill that advanced in the Senate in the United States. Trump's big, beautiful bill. It advanced with a vote of, I believe it was 51 to 49, a very close margin. Actually, Vance was going to go to the Senate because they thought it would need the vice president's tie-break vote to advance. But in the end, it advanced without Vance's vote. And this is not the bill passing the Senate. From what I understand, this vote means that the bill will now be read in the Senate. It will be debated in the Senate. Then it will come up for a vote. And this is all going to be done by Monday. And if it passes in the Senate, which most likely it will pass in the Senate, the vote, then it goes to the House. And then the House votes on it. And if it passes in the House, then it goes to the president, to Trump's desk, and then he signs it. And they want all of this done by July the 4th. That's when Trump wants this bill on his desk. This is Trump's deadline, a self-imposed deadline to pass the BBB, the Build Back Better, big, beautiful bill. Trump's sweeping tax cut spending bill clears first U.S. Senate hurdle, according to Reuters. Their summary says procedural vote sets stage for overnight debate. Lawmakers hope to complete work on bill on Monday. Changes made to Medicaid, state and local tax provisions. Nonpartisan group says bill would add $4 trillion to debt. So Trump posted on X in all caps, very proud of the Republican Party tonight. God bless you all. He then posted Make America Great. And then he posted make the deal in Gaza, get the hostages back. DJT. These were 3 consecutive posts on Truth Social, all in caps. Very proud of the Republicans, MAGA, and let's get a deal in Gaza. That's what Trump posted on Truth Social. And you know who else has returned to the political discourse? Someone who has taken a break from talking politics for the past couple of weeks, but now he is back. Elon Musk. Elon Musk is now posting about politics. He has taken a 2 to 3 week break discussing politics on X. But when it comes to the BBB, the Build Back Better bill, Elon Musk is not very happy. He posted on X, the latest Senate draft bill will destroy millions of jobs in America and cause immense strategic harm to our country. Utterly insane and destructive. It gives handouts to industries of the past while severely damaging industries of the future. Musk also posted polls show that this bill is political suicide for the Republican Party. And then he posted at the same time, this bill raises the debt ceiling by $5 trillion, the biggest increase in history, putting America in the fast lane to debt slavery. I think Rand Paul and Tillis were the two Republican senators that voted against advancing the bill. I believe that's correct. And Trump is very upset with Tillis, if I'm not mistaken. He's upset with Rand Paul as well. I'm not sure, but I believe those were the two senators that voted against the bill, but I could be wrong on that. Yeah, $5 trillion to the debt ceiling. Musk doesn't like this bill because of the $5 trillion, but from what I understand, I'm not an expert on this, but from what I read, the bill is not so good for the type of businesses that Musk is involved in, and it's very good for the old school type of energy, the old school type of energy companies. The bill is good on that, but not so good when it comes to the new school of energy and solar and batteries and EVs and things like that, and subsidies for these things. So I think that Musk is upset about that, as well as the $5 trillion being added to the debt ceiling. It's, from what I understand, the bill is good on tax cuts. It's good on no taxes on tips and things like that. It's terrible, from what I understand. It's not so good. I won't say terrible. That's a strong word. It's not so good on healthcare and Medicaid, though there were some provisions that were added with regards to hospitals in some states for the healthcare side of this bill, and then it's filled with a lot of spending. A whole lot of spending is in this bill. But yeah, the $5 trillion to the debt ceiling. A lot of people are talking about that. And someone replied to Elon Musk, to his message where he said that this bill condemns America to debt slavery, puts America in the fast lane to debt slavery, is what Musk said. Someone replied to Musk saying, "You're right. The $5 trillion debt ceiling increase is the largest nominal jump in U.S. history, but it's not unexpected, and it's not reckless in the way most people assume. The U.S. national debt has grown at an average compound annual rate of 6.8% since 1995. It rose from around $5 trillion to over $36 trillion across 30 years. That trend has held steady through wars, recessions, bailouts, tax cuts, and spending programs under both parties. It's not a left or right issue. It's systemic. When Congress raises the debt ceiling by $5 trillion, they aren't signaling some radical new expansion. They're simply creating space for about 2 more years of debt growth at the same pace the system has followed for decades. We ran the math at 6.8% annual growth. It takes just 25 months to go from 35 trillion to 41 trillion. That's all the new ceiling does, extend the system's natural curve." And I'll put a graph up on the screen so you can check it out. Yeah, that's a pretty spot on analysis. That is spot on, man. It's just systemic, man. This is just the way it's going. 5 trillion gives you another 2 years, and at the end of 2 years, you're going to have to increase the debt ceiling by whatever that new number is going to be. 6 trillion, 7 trillion, 5.5 trillion, whatever it's going to be. You're just going to have to continue to increase when you're 41 trillion, man, in debt. That's going to happen in the next couple of years, according to this guy's numbers. So they have to do it. Basically, the U.S. has no choice. The other option that the U.S. government has is to put a stop to all of the spending, right? Put a stop. Don't increase the debt ceiling and just stop it. That's the other option. But that would mean that you have to start cutting a whole lot of programs and a whole lot of spending. You could probably start with the military-industrial complex. That would be a good place to start. I think they're close to a $1 trillion budget. Anyway, that's the BBB news. And let's have any more news before we get to a clown world. Yes, I do. Let's discuss some more news. From Reuters, vessels near the Strait of Hormuz transmit unusual messages to prevent attacks. So basically what Reuters is reporting, I love this story. I really love this story. What Reuters is reporting is that ships traveling west ships, US, UK, Israeli, EU ships, whatever, all these ships that are traveling through the Gulf, the Red Sea, they are now having to put out signals saying that they are Russian ships or they are Chinese owned or Russian owned so that they can avoid being attacked. You know what that means, everybody? That means that the collective West ships are having to send out messages and signals that they are part of the Russian shadow fleet. Yeah, man, they made it so cool to be part of the Russian shadow fleet, so safe to become part of the Russian shadow fleet that even ships that are not part of the Russian shadow fleet are putting out signals saying that they are part of the Russian shadow fleet. More collective West sanctions against Russia that have backfired spectacularly. Yeah, don't attack us. We're part of the Russian shadow fleet. That's what they're saying, man. Oh my God. Clown world. Have any sanctions worked from the 17, 18 sanctions packages? Has anything worked? I don't think anything has worked. Anyway, Trump. Let's go back to Trump and Truth Social. He put out another post on the Netanyahu court case. He put out a post on Netanyahu a couple of days ago saying that he's upset that Netanyahu is having to undergo this trial, which was a witch hunt, very much like the witch hunts directed at Trump. And he said that the trial is unfair and unjust and all of these things. Well, he pretty much copy and pasted the post that he made a couple of days ago, and he reposted it, but he added some more things to it. He made some interesting comments, changes to his last post talking about Netanyahu's trial. He called Netanyahu, he said Netanyahu is a war hero. Okay, he said Netanyahu is dealing with the dangerous nuclear threat in Iran. He's in the process of negotiating a deal with Hamas, Trump said, which will include getting the hostages back. And then he says he's very upset with the fact that he has to undergo this trial. But towards the end of this post on Truth Social, Trump says the United States of America spends billions of dollars a year, far more than on any other nation, protecting and supporting Israel. We are not going to stand for this. We just had a great victory with Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu at the helm, and this greatly tarnishes our victory. Let Bibi go. He's got a big job to do, all caps. So basically what Trump is saying here is that we provide, as the United States, we provide a ton of money to Israel, and we support Israel like no other nation. And if you don't let Bibi go, if you don't drop the charges and end this witch hunt trial, according to Trump, And he is hinting, he's threatening that the money might stop. An amazing post from Trump, huh? Meddling. He is meddling in the court system, is he not? That's what I'm getting out of this, man. Interesting sentence from Trump on this Truth Social post. I wonder if it will work. I wonder if it will have an effect on the trial. Anyway, that was a post from Trump that a lot of people are talking about. I read this news this morning. I don't know how accurate all of this is, but I'm gonna read it out to you guys because I think this is interesting if any of this is true. But this is coming out of Azerbaijan. And let me just read you the post. Moments ago, a female presenter on Baku TV, Azerbaijan's state-run channel, said the Azerbaijani army may soon enter Tabriz, northwest Iran. This comes after Caliber, Azerbaijani right-wing outlet, said the main enemy of Azerbaijan in Iran is Supreme Leader Al-Khamenei himself, a man who has been consistently building a hostile policy towards Baku for many years. Well, it must be true that these reporters, these presenters, made these statements. But is this the plan? Is Azerbaijan really considering some sort of operation against Iran? We have to keep an eye on this story, on this development, if any of this is true. Or maybe the Azerbaijan government should come out with a statement saying none of this stuff that these TV presenters are saying is true. We have no intention whatsoever to launch an operation against Iran. I don't know. A developing story, perhaps. Mel Gibson was at Mount Athos. Have you guys seen the photos of Mel Gibson at Mount Athos? And he was at a Serbian monastery in Mount Athos. Very interesting. Mount Athos in Greece, up in the north, towards Thessaloniki. And it is the most spiritual, holiest place, I believe. The most spiritual, holiest place for the Orthodox believers in the world. And has many monasteries from all of the Orthodox countries. The Serbian monastery is there. You have the Russian, you have Cyprus. Many monasteries in Mount Athens and Mount Athos. And it's quite a pilgrimage to make it there. And Mel Gibson, he was there, and he was at the Serbian monastery in Mount Athos. And I just thought it was interesting to see Mel Gibson there and the photos that are being published of Mel Gibson at Mount Athos. Maybe one day I'll be able to go to Mount Athos. I believe you have to get permission and some sort of a visa to go to Mount Athos. So, Clown World. Let's do some Clown Worlds and we'll wrap up this Sunday video. How about this post from Trump on Truth Social? I think he's trolling here. I think he is absolutely trolling with this post. This is all caps. Another post in all caps where Trump says, "What great people I met at NATO, including some of the world's most incredible leaders." Come on now. Come on, Trump. You can't be serious, man. You're trolling. You're joking, right? You're joking, man. Talking about the great leaders in the collective West. Stunning and brave. Kaya Kallas. Take a guess where she showed up. Take a guess where Kaya Kallas showed up. Showed up today. She posted on X, "Happy to be in Armenia and meet President Khachaturian." We discussed deepening of EU-Armenia relations, EU support to reforms in building resilience and prosperity. It is key to ensure peace and stability in the region. So as Armenia, as Pashinyan has this purge of the opposition as he goes after church leaders, trying to arrest church leaders, who shows up in Armenia? Kaya Kallas, of course. Of course she shows up in Armenia. It reminds me of how when you would have color revolutions or regime changes or just locking up opposition or whatever in a country, anywhere in the world, whenever you would have stuff go down like that, you would have John McCain kind of show up in that country, or Samantha Power. She would always show up in a country that the collective West was targeting to destabilize. I don't know, maybe Kaya Kallas is the new John McCain or the new Samantha Power. I don't know. Maybe she's going to be the person that shows up in countries that have been targeted for chaos. We'll see. TheDuran.locals.com. We are on Rumble, Odyssey, BitChute, Telegram, Rockfin, and X. Go to the Duran shop. Analepto. Go to the Duran shop. Pick up some merch. Link in the description box down below. Take care.